Oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend. When they lay me down to rest, I know I was always prepped.
Who doesn't know Dustin Poirier? UFC fighter from the United States who brilliantly became the first person to beat Conor McGregor via knockout in the octagon. The man, who was born on January 19, 1989, was a UFC Interim lightweight champion and was ranked first in the UFC lightweight class. Dustin's childhood wasn't as smooth as we think. Dustin's parents divorced when he was 5 years old. Dustin even had to be expelled from school in 8th grade because he was often involved in street fights. Despite having an uneasy childhood, Dustin managed to prove himself and become the top lightweight UFC fighter. However, who would have thought that behind his success, it turned out that Dustin had also experienced defeat. Here are 7 of Dustin Poirier's losses in MMA. Versus Danny Castillo, 2010. Poirier vs. Castillo took place on August 18, 2010, in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. Danny Castillo is from San Francisco, California, and is from the gym Team Alpha Male, while Poirier is from Gladiator Academy. Their score at that time was 8-3 for Castillo and 7-0 for Poirier, where Castillo was 30 years 11 months, and Poirier 21 years 6 months. Overall, Castillo managed to bring Poirier into the wrestling fight, so Castillo managed to win points. In the first round, Castillo immediately released a low shot which Poirier then replied shortly after. Poirier tried to score a point, but he conceded and was trapped in a wrestling that was quite exhausting. In this round, Castillo also managed to do a pretty good ground and pound. In the second round, Castillo managed to bring back the fight on the mat. Even so, Poirier managed to hook Castillo's tight triangle lock. But apparently the tight triangle was improperly shaped, which prevented Castillo's veins from completely stopping. As a result, Castillo still had the energy to carry Dustin up and slam him down. Dustin's bonds didn't break, then Castillo shifted to the side and managed to release the submission until he was able to control the fight. The third round, Castillo managed to land a heavy blow and a low kick. Then Castillo tried to knock him down, but Dustin managed to land a punch. The fight then turns to wrestling, and Dustin once again manages to engage the triangle lock, but Castillo manages to break free and take control of Dustin. After a long struggle, the match finally ended in victory for Castillo. Versus Chan Sung-Yoon, 2012. Poirier vs. the Korean Zombie made the headlines on UFC on Fuel TV on May 15, 2012. Poirier became a rising fighter with 5 consecutive wins, which led him to meet Chan Sung-Yoon. If Poirier wins this time, it will take him to compete in the featherweight belt that was then held by Jose Aldo. For the record, none of them were ever submitted, and only Yoon suffered a knockout loss. Even though both of them fared well, only one person would come out victorious. Chan Sung-Yoon has good striking, but Poirier is no less good, and he has to maintain his achievements so far. Although Yoon had experienced a quick defeat against Mark Hommick, but the fight against Leonard Garcia has proven who Yoon really is. In the match this time, they fought hard from the start, and finally, the Korean Zombie came out victorious. This defeat meant that Poirier had to learn more to prepare for his long career, at the age of only 23. This was the fight that the crowd had been waiting for, and the fight ended in minute 17 seconds into the 4th round. After the fight, Yoon told John and Nick that he wanted to thank all the Korean fans who came that day. Yoon also said that he was in trouble, and the thought of giving up was in his head, but he kept going and got up. For this victory, Chan Sung-Yoon wanted Jose Aldo. Versus Cub Swanson, 2013. The fight between the two best featherweight fighters took place on February 16, 2013, at UFC on Fuel TV, London, England. In this fight, each opponent has an equal chance of advancing to the division rank. Swanson has an impressive 3-game winning streak where he beat his opponent in the second round in every fight. Swanson can make a great right kick, deal massive damage in a clinch, or play in and out. Poirier himself tried to limit Swanson's ability to land significant attacks, but that did little to help his cause in this fight. If Poirier wasn't able to get close and grab Swanson, it would be a tiring day for Poirier. Seeing Swanson's striking ability, it added to Swanson's chances of a knockout win over Poirier. Then how is their ground game? Both fighters don't have significant ground fighting, but if one of them is at the top, they are equally effective. But there is a difference between the two, where Swanson will be devastating in the ground and pound positions. Meanwhile, Dustin has more potential for submission when wrestling. That way, their grappling abilities can be said to be equaled. Cub Swanson, despite his poor attacking defense, the adjustments he made throughout the game and in each round were fantastic. That's what led Swanson to be the winner in this fight. Versus Conor McGregor 1, 2014. This is the top-ranked featherweight bout between the Diamond versus the Notorious first happened. They first met at UFC 178 on September 27, 2014, at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. This was when the Irishman hit Poirier and finished him off in the first round. McGregor may have earned some judgment on his words, but underneath it all, he also has impressive fighting skills. This is Poirier's first bout against a top 10. It's crucial for McGregor to prove himself worthy of the challenge. On the other hand, Poirier was climbing the ladder to champions, as Poirier's top 10 is a very precise test for McGregor. In the fight, as usual, Conor McGregor started with a long shot and then a hook. Poirier seemed calm enough to give a foot kick in return. The two exchanged punches as the crowd cheered, as McGregor continued to push Poirier with kicks, and a series of attacks spiraled into his fight. Although McGregor was hit by several punches from Poirier, McGregor finally landed a punch with his left hand. The blow cut Poirier's temple and sent him falling to the mat. That's where McGregor finished off Poirier with a series of ground attacks. This is the perfect performance from Conor McGregor, where he comes across as aggressive, arrogant, yet effective. Poirier might be the perfect opponent for Conor McGregor, but the Notorious got rid of him faster than anyone else has. Versus Michael Johnson, 2016. This fight took place at the UFC Night Fight event, September 17, 2016, and became the main card of the event. The event also featured Manvel Gamburian versus Alejandro Perez, but Gamburian withdrew for some reason until he was replaced by Albert Morales. Abel Trujillo was also present to fight Evan Dunham, but Dunham withdrew and was replaced by Rick Glenn. In combat, since moving from featherweight, Poirier has managed to crush several opponents, thanks to technical improvements and incredible punching power. Beating Michael Johnson might be the last push Dustin needs to get to the next level. Meanwhile, Johnson, who was in Poirier's place just over a year ago, has made his title success after several big wins in a row. Even though a few heavy losses saw him slip down, this was an opportunity for him to turn things around and start a new step up the ranking ladder. In the fight, Johnson begins to attack quickly, maintains his range, and stabs Poirier with japs and low kicks. In the first trade-off, Johnson's speed advantage was clear over Poirier's. Although Johnson looked sharp, Poirier looked quite calm, but it boomeranged when Poirier made a combination that was too high. Johnson took a quick step back, then landed a powerful hook cross on Poirier's chin. Finally, the fight ended with Michael Johnson coming out victorious. Versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, 2019. Dustin Poirier's sixth defeat was against a boxer from Russia, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Their fight at that time made the headlines at UFC 242, which took place in Abu Dhabi, 7 September 2019. Khabib at that time maintained an unbeaten record of 27-0, while Dustin Poirier underwent his unification fight with a record of 25-5 on Saturday. Previously, Khabib was suspended for 9 months, so that his status became temporary champion. Dustin Poirier is interim champion. The fight became a champion against champion that many people had been waiting for. However, it turns out that the fight turned out to be a long night for Dustin, when he met the most brilliant wrestler in the world. Poirier meets the man who has the longest winning streak in history with 27 straight wins. Khabib is one of only 3 UFC fighters to have an 11-game winning streak at the start of his career. The two fighters are Anderson Silva and Royce Gracie. In the fight, Dustin Poirier opens the attack with a sweep of the foot, while Khabib waits for a takedown opportunity. His efforts then succeeded after 2 minutes of the fight. Khabib tried to control the fight to tie a rear naked choke, but Poirier wouldn't give up. Although the Eagle appeared aggressive, Poirier didn't want to lose until the first round ended. In the second round, Khabib was still aggressive, but the Diamond managed to land a consecutive jab and turn things around, prompting Khabib to retreat onto the fence. Even though he managed to land a few punches, it wasn't enough to knock Khabib down. Furthermore, the Eagle managed to do a takedown, and didn't give Poirier a chance to attack. In the third round, Poirier threw a couple of low kicks, and managed to wrap a tight guillotine, but again that wasn't enough to stop the Eagles. Finally, after the submission was released, the Eagle had complete control of the fight, and managed to put his arm around the rear naked choked. Versus Charles Oliveira, 2021. In a fight that took place on December 11, 2021, at UFC 269, Oliveira managed to prove his worth by defeating Dustin Poirier in the third round. Poirier, who appeared to be striking with a hard punch that had brought down Oliveira, but was able to get up quickly. On the other hand, Oliveira managed to retaliate and at the same time hurt Poirier in the nose. Until finally 2 minutes left in the first round, Poirier again managed to hit and bring down Oliveira. But Oliveira's advantage on the ground made Poirier not continue the fight any further. Second round, Oliveira tries to take the fight to the mat, and succeeds with a few elbows. Oliveira finally ended the fight by riding on Poirier's back while delivering a rear naked choke, while Poirier was standing. Oliveira successfully defended the UFC lightweight belt for the first time since he won the title, by defeating Michael Chandler in his previous fight. So those are the 7 defeats of Dustin Poirier. Don't forget to give your thumbs up, write your comments below, and share them with your friends. Thanks for watching. See you in another video. See ya.